Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of my Tier 1 IT Lab series. This series is for people breaking into IT help desk, sysadmin, MSP work, and we're going to walk through some real-life tools like Windows Server, Active Directory, DHCP, DNS, GPO, and a lot more. And I'm making this series because this is what I would have wanted when I was first getting into IT. You learn all of this stuff with certs that's technical and theoretical, and it is useful, but you don't really get any hands-on experience. I had a tough time tracking down real resources to get Active Directory experience and Windows Server experience before I started in IT. And this is arguably the most important before you actually start your job. Now, this is going to be half of the stuff that certs don't teach you. There's also the Microsoft half of stuff that I'm going to be doing in a completely different series. Exchange, Entra, Microsoft Admin, Purview, stuff like that. And just to be clear, this is not an Azure Lab series. I'll be using Azure to host my server because it's the simplest and cheapest way for me actually to do it. This is accessible for anyone who has an internet connection. You don't have to have a computer with a ton of resources since it's all going to be hosted in the cloud, and it's super cheap. I'm talking 50 cents or less per day. In this first episode, we'll be discussing how to actually spin up that server, Windows Server 2022 VM. We're going to connect to it using something called Azure Bastion so that we don't have to RDP and we don't have to mess with Azure firewall rules or anything like that. We'll give it a static IP, and then we'll install all of the roles and features that we're going to be using throughout the duration of this lab. Active Directory, DNS, DHCP, print management, GPO, stuff like that. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do, you're going to go to the website portal.azure.com. Now, I already have an account created, so it took me straight to this screen, but you're going to have to create your own account with portal.azure. It's going to ask you to put in a credit card. Don't be scared. I'm not going to lead you into spending hundreds of dollars. We're going to allocate our resources, and then when we're done using them, we're going to deallocate all of them so we're no longer paying for them. This is going to be a very cheap lab. So set up your Azure account. It's a free Microsoft account. Put your credit card in. I advise that you upgrade to the pay-as-you-go subscription because some of the stuff with the free trial is not up to par with what we're going to need, and let's get into it. Okay, so since you have your Azure account now, and we're on our main page, we're going to go up here to create a resource. And I'm going to create a virtual machine, this little blue guy over here. Click on create. When I create my virtual machine, it's going to ask me to put in some stuff. My subscription is probably automatically going to be Azure Subscription 1. Resource group, I'm going to click create new. We'll call this RG-LabTest-1. The name doesn't really matter. My virtual machine name, I'm going to call it Lab VM. Region is fine. For my availability zone, I'm going to go ahead and just choose... Actually, there's nothing to choose there. I can just leave that fine. Here for availability zone, I'm going to choose zone 3. I know this because some stuff you need zone 3 for. Security type, trusted launch virtual machines is totally fine. Zone options, I can just keep it as self-selected zone. Totally fine. For my image, I'm going to go here. I'm going to scroll down a wee bit, and I'm going to choose this Windows Server 2022 Data Center Azure Edition Hot Patch. It's going to be an x64, and this is an important part. For my sizes, I'm going to choose this one, standard E2S V3, 2 vCPUs, 16 gigs of memory. I know it shows $160 a month. Again, don't be scared. You're only charged with Azure for how long you actually use things. So I'm going to provision this guy, do what I need to do, deprovision it. It is very cheap. You're talking cents per day, provided that you don't forget to leave your VM on. You could choose this one that's 1 vCPU and 1 gig of memory, but I promise you it is going to be so slow that it's basically unusable. So I always choose this one, standard E2S V3. And then here it's going to ask you to make a username and a password. I'm going to go ahead and use labadmin as my username and create your password. Confirm your password. Good to go. For my inbound ports, my public inbound ports, I'm going to go ahead and select none because, again, we're not going to be RDPing into this guy. Now, once all of this is complete, I should be able to just review and create. Disk is going to be an automatically created disk. That's 128 gigabytes. Nothing to worry about. And we see 22 cents per hour this guy is going to cost me. So again, as long as I don't forget to turn it off, I'm going to be good to go. Go here to the bottom, click create, and it's going to take a little bit of time. You may be waiting with validation, and it's going to show initializing deployment, submitting deployment, and then it's going to be deployment in progress. This guy's going to take a little bit of time. Usually it's like 5 minutes. Okay, and you're going to notice that it actually auto creates a bunch of other stuff too. I have my virtual machine that's being created. It also creates a network interface, a virtual network interface, something called a network security group, a virtual network, and then a public IP as well. Again, this is not an Azure lab, so we don't really need to worry that much about all this stuff. But it's still important for general Azure navigation to be able to track things down. Up here at the top, I can click search and I can just look for my VM names. I can look for any names, really. We had to create that resource group. I can find my subscription, and I can also find my VM. Let's click on it. Okay, once I click on my VM, I can see here lab-VM. I'm going to go connect and connect via Bastion. Since we haven't set up our Bastion yet, we're going to have to deploy Bastion. This does take a little bit. It's like 5 to 10 minutes for the Bastion to actually deploy. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy this. Again, Bastion pricing starts with an hourly base rate. We're not worried about price. It's going to be super cheap because we're going to delete everything. Deploy Bastion. Okay, another thing. While I'm waiting for this Bastion to deploy, I'm actually going to go to my virtual machine, lab-VM, click on it. I'm going to click networking over here on the left, and then I'm going to click network settings. Under my network settings, I can see my virtual NIC, my virtual network interface. It says network interface/IP configuration. I'm going to go ahead and click on that because I want to set a static private IP for this guy since it's going to be my domain controller in my lab environment. Click on our IP config here, and here where it says private IP address settings on the right, I can go ahead and click static. Totally fine. Save it. Okay, while we're waiting for our Bastion to deploy, I want to reiterate, labbing is the best way you can actually get hands-on IT experience without already having an IT job. You also need to be able to sell this to an employer. So my recommendation for you is as we're deploying this VM, take screenshots of things and document them in your GitHub. This is going to help you A, learn GitHub, B, learn to use Markdown language and add photos in GitHub, and C, it's going to give you a little mini portfolio that you can get rolling. Throughout this series, you're going to have a ton of stuff that we're going to be looking at, all that is absolutely useful to the job. The only reason I know all of this stuff that I know is because I've had to do it on the job. That's what I'm going to be teaching to you. If you find this useful, feel free to like, subscribe, comment. All of these things help me to be able to reach more people wanting to get into IT. Appreciate you guys for all the support so far. Let's get back into it. Okay, looks like our Bastion finally provisioned. Again, I'm going to go to my virtual machine. I'm going to click up here, connect, and I'm going to click connect via Bastion. Here I'm going to put my username and password that I made before, lab admin, and my password. We'll go ahead and open a new browser tab. Might have to accept our pop-ups in the browser. And so now it's connecting us to our server. This is just like had we hopped into the server and put in those admin credentials. You can see this is what Windows Server looks like. Honestly, it looks just like a Windows 10 device. Once again, things might take a little bit to load, but it shouldn't be too long considering we gave our server a little bit more resources. We're going to get this pop-up. Do you want to allow your PC to be discoverable by other PCs and devices on this network? That's fine. Yes or no. And when you have a Windows Server instance, every time you log into it by default, it's going to pop open this Server Manager. We're really not going to use Server Manager very much, but today we are going to use it. So my first thing that I always do in Server Manager is up here at the top right, I go Manage, I click Server Manager Properties here, and I check this Do Not Start Server Manager automatically at logon. That's because after we do what we need with it, we're not going to use it very much, and it's really annoying having to close it out all the time. Okay? So right now we have a Windows Server instance, but we don't actually have anything on it. If I search up Active Directory, we can see that there's actually nothing found for Active Directory. That's because this doesn't have ADDS on it yet. So I actually need to install those roles and features. I'm going to go up here to the top. I'm going to click Manage, and I'm going to click Add Roles and Features. Go ahead and click Next on this before you begin. Installation type is totally fine. Leave it as role-based or feature-based. Server selection, it's going to be this server. Next. And then here's where I can choose my server roles. I'm going to choose the following roles to install. Firstly is Active Directory Domain Services. Include management tools, all of it, add features. Next up is DHCP server and DNS server. Again, just adding features, and you can continue through all of the warnings. DNS servers, add feature, continue. Next, I'm going to do print and document services. This is because I want to simulate having a print server. Add features. Next up, I'm also going to do web server, IIS. Add features. Now that I have all of those features checked, I can just next, all the way through these menus. I guess on this next one, I do want to ensure that group policy management is checked. That's right on the first next. Next. Okay, so I've gone all the way through and I've clicked install on this very last page. I haven't checked or unchecked any other options. Note this says you can close this wizard without interrupting running tasks. View task progress or open this page again by clicking notifications in the command bar and then task details. So we're good to close this out. We're going to wait for these guys to install. Once they do install, they're going to prompt for a reboot. We're going to reboot our server and things are going to be good to go. And again, the installation of these features is going to take some time. Go ahead and just let it roll. It'll probably be 5-10 minutes until everything's ready to go. Okay, looks like everything's good to go. Once everything's done, you're going to see it all here in Server Manager. ADDS, DHCP, all of these things will show up. I thought it was going to prompt us for a reboot. I guess it's not going to, but I'm going to go ahead and just reboot it for good measure. Just like a computer. I'm going to go here, click on my power, restart. And with a server, it asks you to give a reason because servers don't get rebooted as often as computers. I'm just going to go other unplanned. Continue. It's going to show up with this target machine encountered an error and has closed the connection. We're good to just close out of our VM. I'm just going to wait a minute while it reboots, and then I'm going to input the password again here and log back in from the Azure portal. Okay, so I've given it about a minute. We're going to go ahead and connect with our password, and it should let us back in here. Okay, so now we turned Server Manager off so it doesn't open automatically. So if we wanted to look at it, we could pull it back up here. And if you're wondering what all of these things are, don't worry about it. We're going to look at them in the next videos in this series. But now we have a fully functional Windows Server instance where we can look at things like Active Directory. And the Active Directory that we use most often is going to be Active Directory users and computers. We can look at things like DHCP. If we just type in DHCP in the bottom left here, we can look at things like DNS, print management, which is going to be our print server tool. All of these things that we haven't actually configured yet, but we're going to configure in episodes to come. In the next episode, we're going to promote this guy to our domain controller, and we'll actually create our domain, which is where things get real. If you want more hands-on experience, hold tight for episode 2, and we'll keep this thing going. Today, we created our Azure account, deployed a Windows Server virtual machine, connected to that Windows Server virtual machine through Azure Bastion, hopped into it, and installed all of the roles and features that we're going to need for coming episodes in this lab. Appreciate you guys. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode when we actually get this guy rolling. Be safe, be smart, make some good decisions, and we'll see you soon. And I guess I forgot one other thing, which is how to deallocate this server when we need to. We're going to go ahead and close out of our Windows Server instance. We're going to go back to Azure, go home. I can go to this resource group, rg-labtest-1, click on it, delete it, and this is going to delete all of the resources with it. So I can just apply force delete. It's going to have you put the name of the resource group in and delete it. When you do that, all of your resources go bye-bye for good. You're going to have to re-provision them the next time you spin up your lab, but that's how you keep it extremely cheap. However, if you don't want to fully deprovision and you're okay with paying like maybe $1 a day to keep your VM up and save yourself a little bit of time, you can go to your actual virtual machine, lab-VM, and you can click stop up here. So I'm on my virtual machine in Azure. I can go up here and just click stop. Deallocation takes a couple minutes, might take 90 minutes. That's totally fine. That's going to stop the virtual machine, so I'm no longer paying for the compute, for the CPU cores and the RAM. However, I'm still going to be paying for the disk that the virtual machine is on. Again, I hope you guys have found this useful. Deallocate those VMs. Don't forget about that because then it will cost you a little bit of money. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you soon.